What do you say we catch you up on the country music news this week, rounding it all up? I call it Murph's Music Roundup. Thanks for stopping along for the ride. My name is Murph Dog. I like to keep you up to date with some of the country music news that you may have missed throughout the week. Now, if you want to stay up to date on the stuff that you missed right away, you can always go to my Instagram and check it out right there. That's the name, MurphDog17. Just search that and you will see updated stuff throughout the week. I call Murph's Music Minute. But as we wrap up the entire week of some of the stuff you may have missed, country music news-wise, this is where I hope to catch you. Now, don't forget, if you do like this sort of stuff, to like, subscribe, share it with a friend, because I would appreciate that. No other reason. Well, also because you like this stuff. All right, let's round things up with Murph's Music Roundup, getting into it. Story number one today. Congratulations going out. Connor Smith announced that he and his wife are expecting a baby. They announced the news on Instagram while Connor was holding a picture of a sonogram. Now this is their first baby together, as they got married back in 2024. And for those of you who don't know, Leah is a professional surfer. That's Connor Smith's wife. I mean, I think about it, that baby's gonna be one talented child, I swear. Between the vocal chops that dad has and then the professional surfing ability that mom has, wow. That child's either gonna be gracing the Opry stage or surfing the pipeline in North Shore. Maybe both. All right, let's go into the next story. Bailey Zimmerman. I know you heard the news about him trashing the hotel he was staying at for a performance that he canceled abruptly with like 40 minutes before the venue was supposed to open. So not only did that happen, but apparently he went on a bender that night and trashed the hotel room that he was staying at. To the point where the housekeeping came in the next day and said furniture was broken, TVs were broken. There was a hole in the wall worth more than $16,000 of damage. I mean, it's like Bailey Zimmerman was living like a 1980s rock star. You know the stories, you hear it all about TVs being thrown out the windows and stuff. You know, it came to a point where Bailey Zimmerman faced legal matters over this. There was a warrant out for his arrest. Charges were being filed. And Bailey immediately issued a statement through his attorney saying, "I take full responsibility of this. I am so sorry for this matter. If I hurt someone or disrespected someone, I really do apologize. And I'm taking this legal matter seriously." Well, then fast forward to the next day. That statement comes out and the charges were also dropped. Why? Well, because Bailey Zimmerman paid the full restitution of the $16,000 plus worth of damage that he caused to the hotel. And Bailey's lawyer said in a statement, quote, "The charges were dropped after Bailey took responsibility for his mistake. We are grateful to the Pueblo of Sandia and the district attorney's office for the just and swift resolution." If this isn't a learning lesson for Bailey Zimmerman, I don't know what would be, because he needs to count his lucky stars. I mean, you can't live like a rock star nowadays. It just doesn't happen anymore. It's not 1980. And speaking of legal matters, let's go to the next story. That's right. A Tennessee real estate agency is suing Luke Bryan and Jason Aldean somewhere to the tune of $1.4 million. And that's allegedly for not paying rent on their Nashville restaurant. Now, the lawsuit filed is for unpaid rent for the E3 Chop House, Nashville. And in the complaint, it's alleging that the celebrity investors did not pay rent for January or February. And they also violated the lease, which, by the way, is up in 2029. Now, a spokesperson for the E3 Chop House has responded to the claims. They said that none of the restaurant's partners had any knowledge of the complaints. And they also stated that a resolution is currently being pursued. And I gotta believe that. If you think about it, Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan, there's also a baseball player involved in this as part of the celebrity investors. They have busy lives. They have people that they hire to handle the stuff, the minutia of the day-to-day. I doubt Luke Bryan even is aware of any of this matter, and it's just being brought up. because he's got his day to day, he's got his touring, he's got his American Idol that he had to worry about concentrating on. He's got a lot of stuff. So did Jason Aldean. So I can see where this is kind of just them using their name and likeness and collecting a paycheck from the restaurant. What do you say we move over to our final story of the day? Dan and Shay, is their favorite movie Wedding Crashers? Because that's exactly what they did. They made a fan's dream come true when they actually legit crashed a wedding. You see, Emily Hood Weiss responded to a Dan and Shay post that they put on their story, and they asked if there were any couples that are getting married around the Nashville area anytime soon. So, of course, she commented saying, yes, by the way, I am, and here's the information. Well, then they ended up ghosting her, or so she thought, because they weren't ghosting her at all. They were getting ready behind the scenes to crash her wedding and surprise her and her new husband. And it worked like a charm. It was so cool seeing Dan and Shay sneak in and actually surprise the new couple. Of course, Dan and Shay performed a couple of songs, including a brand new song called Marry You Again, which is so cool because now you make the special day even more special. How are you going to top that? I mean, maybe a Taylor Swift invite to her wedding? Just saying, I don't know. I do like the fact that Dan and Shay are back together stronger than ever, communicating with each other. Obviously, you know, a couple years back, they were kind of, I don't know, distant, I want to say, and maybe on the verge of breakup, but it's clearly they're strong. Their bond is stronger than ever. And that's all the roundup I got for you for this week for Murph's Music Roundup. Hey, do me a favor. If you do enjoy this content and what I'm doing here each and every week that I bring to you, well, do me a favor. Give me a like, subscribe, follow, share it with a friend, because it would mean the world to me if you did that. You know, I really do appreciate that. And don't forget, if you want to follow me on the gram, you could do that just right there at MurphDog17. I do updated music news throughout the week called Murph's Music Minute. It's more condensed than this. If you want the longer form, this is for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in to Murph's Music Roundup. I'll catch you next time.